Artlist.io.
Well, welcome to the 97th episode of the Erick and Brad Show. My name is Erick. This is Bradley Cooper. We are here. I'm in Portland. We're not here. I'm in Portland. He's somewhere in the vast nether reaches of the North Pole or North Dakota. I think they got I think Neil Degrasse Tyson is wrong, and the actual poles aren't where they say they are, and it's actually Williston, North Dakota is where Santa Claus comes from. The reindeer take off. It's Brad hears them every day take off his fucking roof. Just blah, 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 blah. Just give him something else to complain about. I'm Eric. This is Brad. Welcome. How you doing, Brad?
I'm fighting. I'm still here doing well. How are you doing?
Oh my God, so fucking good. You know why?
Why?
I'm not hungover, and that's like the first time in the history of the show at 9 a.m. on a Saturday that my head isn't pounding.
You didn't drink
I only
last
had
night?
5 beers last night. 5! That's
Music
fucking...
licensing reimagined.
Wow.
How we doing? Huh?
I'm doing all right. I'm locked in. 2023. You know. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm fucking on one right now, feeling a little hyphy. Let's get right into it. What's your stance on abortion? No. I was reading a
Artlist.io.
I was reading, so you know, this whole Idaho murder thing is like really becoming the talk of the town. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's really hitting national news. Whereas I was kind of wondering when this murder thing came about. You know, I'm sure everyone that listens to the show knows that there was 4 people, I believe 1 boy, 3 girls murdered in Moscow, Idaho.
Yeah. Very sad.
Stabbed to death. This happened like 3 weeks ago or something like that. 2.5, 3 weeks, maybe a month ago. And then like a week or 2 weeks ago, they found the dude in Pennsylvania. Where was he at?
I believe so.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. And I really haven't been following the case, but I was kind of wondering, is this going to be just local news for us, the North Idaho people?
No.
You know, or is this going to get national attention? Is this going to be the next Gabby Petito, you know, Yellowstone murder type fucking thing? And
Yeah, well,
obviously it's gotten to that point because it seems my only news sources are TikTok. So it's pretty popular on TikTok, I'll tell you that much. I saw Anthony Jeselnik do a joke on the murders, which perfect. If Anthony Jeselnik is making fun of a murder, you know it's hitting national attention. You know what I mean?
No, it's going to be a big trial. It's not going to be a George Floyd or Kyle Rittenhouse, but it's going to be a highly followed trial because the news loves a trial.
So did you go to U of I?
No.
Or did you just go visit Moscow? You just did the normal Sandpoint thing and went down there a few times?
No, I went there one time in my life when our football team went to state. And we went there.
Okay. So a girl I dated, that was where she was from. And I want to say I went down to Moscow, let's say 6-7 times, something like that. So not a bunch. Went probably twice to like party with random people, and then the other 4 times was with her, and we'd hang out for a night and hang out with her family and stuff like that. But
cool.
There's a lot of people from Sandpoint. Anyone listening that's not from Sandpoint, it's like Sandpoint 2.0. That's where people go. If you're from Sandpoint, there's 30% of the population that graduate high school, and they just move to Moscow, and it becomes even though it's fucking 4 hours away, 3 hours away or something like that, even though it's pretty far away, if you go to that town, you're from Sandpoint, you're going to find someone that you know that lives in that town.
Yeah.
Like of one Facebook post away to meeting up with someone. Pretty cool town. I mean, kind of shitty. Really has not much to offer. But the first time I went with that girl, and she took me to a place downtown, and she's like, this is the local spot. Everyone loves it. And it was cool for me because it was my first introduction to Greek food, because Sandpoint had no ethnic food at all. And so she took me to a place called the Mad Greek Euros. And I'd never had a Euro. I'm looking at the sign like, what's a gyro? Like, I don't understand why this. And I didn't even understand the word they were saying. I read the sign, and the last part of the word, they're like, euro. I didn't even, like, connect. I was like, why does that say gyro? And then they'd be, oh, let's go get a Mikey euros. I'm like, what? Why do they keep adding this weird word to the end of that sentence? I don't get it. But
every episode, Eric comes on and tells us a word that confused him at some point.
Yes. And every white person was confused by their first interaction with euro. I'll tell you what. Yeah. Okay. So we went there, and it was great. And she was hyping this place up. And then yesterday, or the day before, I am on Facebook, and it's all about the murders. It was some publication, a big national publication, but they're like, oh, People magazine had released released some stuff that said that the connection between the murderer and the murderees is this place called the Mad Greek. And I was like, oh shit, People magazine. I don't know. It was like this weird thing. The first time, really, I would say national news has like talked about something, and I'm like, I like can put myself right in that exact place. You know what I mean? In that room. Yeah. And it was like, whoa, that's weird. Like, that's crazy. And that's my only connection to that whole fucking story. The closest connection I have is this place. But the Mad Euro place, I guess, reached out and said, like, they don't know where that information came from, and that's absolute bullshit. They're like, no one at our establishment has said any of this. Like, they're denying the connection, which I would assume if you're a restaurant, I'd lean into that shit, dog. You know what I mean? Be like, oh, no. You know, and be like, we got euros for $8. You know what I mean? Like, you stab 4 euros, you get the 5th one free.
That's fucking weird.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Nothing too important. It was cool just to have some connection to this mega story.
Yeah, and just one of the victims was my buddy's cousin. Is my only.
Well, sorry for me being insensitive. I'm an asshole. I feel completely. This feels like a Gabby Petito or whatever. Like, I have no connection to these people.
Yeah.
And y'all know me. I'll make a joke literally 5 minutes after someone was murdered. So sorry if this isn't, if it's too soon. I'm not being crazy. I thought the Euro joke was pretty good, but
good one.
Yeah.
And then I think even on Theo Vaughn's podcast, he was saying that because there were 6 people in the house, and 4 of them got killed, and that one of the girl that lived there, came out into the hallway or whatever, and saw the guy leaving the house wearing like a black mask, and she panicked, went back in her room, locked the door, and just sat there and didn't call the cops or anything because she was fucking like shakingly terrified, and it was like, holy fuck, dude, fucking craziness.
You know, not to veer off too much.
Yeah.
Do you ever sit and think about, like, really, I'm so fascinated, because I don't think, without just forcing yourself into situations, I don't think you ever know how you'll react.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like the way I deal with everything in life is so, like, trying to not be emotional about it. But maybe that'll totally fuck me when something really crazy happens. That, like, I'll get overwhelmed with emotions. You know what I mean? Like, I would feel like if something crazy happens, someone's, like, getting murdered, or I'm, like, in face-to-face with, like, true evil or a really fucked situation. Yeah. I'd like to think I'd stay calm. Like, not stay calm, but I would, like, oh, I'm going to fucking kill this person. You know what I mean? Or, like, make a good decision, not just, like, fight or flight type thing. It's so interesting to me.
No, you're always like, I would hope that I would do the right thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, but you never really know.
No,
you know
what
I mean? It's like,
unless you're like, I don't know, unless you're like some fucking military vet or some cop who's worked for 20 years.
Exactly. That's the only people that could say, that really know how they would do, is people that have, like, been to war, and they'd be like, no, you know, and but it's a whole fucking thing. I remember, like, my dad always talking about, you know, when they would train for fucking like the special forces guys, they just hold you underwater and shit like that, and just to mentally to get you to a point where you weren't scared, you could lower your heart rate, you weren't burning through oxygen, like getting used to essentially dying, you know what I mean, like putting you right at the edge of death, and then to where you just relax when you got into that situation, because multiple things, not only making bad decisions, but you're wasting oxygen, elevating your heart rate, when if you can just stay calm, like how you supposed to shoot a gun if your heart rate is just out of control, you know what I mean, like you're gonna be your fucking target is just you're gonna be missing so much if you can't, which weird turn again. I heard I was listening to that neuroscientist that's been going around all the fucking podcasts recently. I can't remember his name now. He's been on like every major podcast. He was saying that there's a big doping community in he was like, we only focus on basketball, football, UFC and shit for people who doing illegal drugs. He's like, there's a big one with what do you call it, triathlons, the people that ski and then shoot. They said it's huge there. They take certain drugs to lower their heart rate so that when they're skiing, he said it's like a real problem. You get all jacked up and then you have to go shoot, and your heart rate will fuck with your shooting because you're so jacked up. Yeah. So they take drugs that'll make them like be able to drop their heart rate like really quick. Yeah. So like that's their way of like cheating in the Olympics, which is, I don't know, I found really interesting topic.
No, we think we could like, I could clear this building fucking of, bad guys if I had to. And it's just because we've played so much fucking Call of Duty, we think we know what we're doing. But if I actually had to raise a gun and shoot at somebody who was like running, like, I don't know, my heart rate goes 0 to 100 so fucking quickly sometimes that I probably couldn't even see. Like, my vision would probably just be fucking blurry with adrenaline, And you're just like, bang, shooting fucking 20 feet in the sky. I'd like to just run some fucking real VR, like real VR, like, and fucking put myself in, like, you gotta rob this bank situation. See if you could do it.
But you would, unless it's real, you would never get to that. Yeah. And I think, I literally thinking about this off the top of my head, I'd say a good judge, baseline, would be like how crazy you get when you dream. Because sometimes I'll be in situations where I'm dreaming and like, it's fucking real, dog. And my heart rate is through the fucking roof. I'll like wake up at 3 a.m. like, like fucking Jesus Christ. Like, you should have seen the egg was chasing me down the fucking street. Like, fuck that egg. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
or someone will die or something and I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh my God. And then I'll remember it was just a dream and then be like, oh fuck. Okay, everything's fine. But yeah, that's probably why cops, like, there's so many stories, a cop just fucking shoots somebody and randomly. It's like, they got scared too. Like, they're new, and like cops get fucking scared too, and they don't know what they're doing. Fucking 6 weeks out of the 6-week academy courses, and then all of a sudden they're in a real life situation. It's like they fucking panic too. They're human.
I wonder if fucking...
That's why I feel for that girl. If that story is real, that she saw the guy leaving the house with a knife and a black mask, and she went in her room and just couldn't fucking do anything, it's like, I feel for her. You want to say you'd call the 911 right away, but it's like, I feel for you. You're human. You were terrified. I don't know.
Yeah. Another weird turn I'm going to take here is kind of correlates to the same thing we're talking about, is the other day my baby had fucking crawled up on a like chair, like fucking 3 feet tall. We have like tall chairs for our dining room, and he's got the upper body strength in the last month that he can clink his arms onto the bars and he can pull himself up onto it. He's a strong little fucker, and he gets up there, but then he's like all willy-nilly on this little platform that's 3 feet off the ground, and I'm sitting there and I look over and I'm like, God damn it, and I'll look back and then look back at him, and this is like 3 seconds has gone by, and there's a fucking this was before he could do it. This was like 2-3 weeks ago, and he had pushed a laundry hamper up to it and then crawled on top of the laundry, like a flipped up laundry hamper, crawled on that, then got on the chair, and I look, I'm like, God damn it, and I was doing something and like put my stuff down and look over at him, and he fucking somersaults off the chair and like it's hardwood floor. You know what I mean? It's like, oh fuck, he's just a baby. You know what I mean? And like, dude, it was. You see all those fucking clips online where dads like do these crazy saves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I like froze. It was
Oh, yeah.
I did like, and it wasn't like out of fear. It was like my brain didn't like click fast enough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just like happened, and I just like, oh shit. And it was like, I don't even know if I could have made it to him. Maybe if I was like super reaction.
Yeah.
Because it was like 8 feet away from me, but it was like I watched it happen, and like
Yeah.
I couldn't compute it until like 1 second had gone by, and then I was like, oh shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And luckily he had like landed perfectly on the clothes hamper, and it like took the whole fall before he like landed on the floor. Yeah, I mean, we could have ended up in the fucking hospital. It was bad.
Yeah, but
But-
little kids also just bounce off the floor, basically, right? It's not like you falling.
Yeah, they do. They can. Yeah.
Yeah.
They can definitely.
I think
Head
women
injuries?
are quicker. I think women are a lot quicker in those situations too. They're just
Yeah.
they're just like fucking snag babies out of the air, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that correlates to. I mean, really fear, but just reaction time. You know what I mean? Like I just like. It was like my brain. I've almost felt like I was watching a TV show or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm like.
Yeah.
I
I know what you
forgot that I could affect the situation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, oh shit, I'm like here. I can do something. You know what I mean? Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it was like
Maybe
when
that's weed. I don't know.
when I was here and there was a parking lot outside of a bar full of people brawling, and then all of a sudden gunshots started going off, and everybody immediately started running, and I just stood there perfectly calm.
Dude, you keep telling this story, and we get it. You're really cool, Brad.
No, I was drunk. For one, I was intoxicated, and two, I don't know if that was actually the best reaction. I think that was like a fight, flight, or freeze, and I was just like, and it's like maybe you should have been reacting instead of just standing there. I don't know. It was like I was watching a movie, though. That's what it was like. But it's like maybe you shouldn't just stand there nonchalantly. You should actually get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I mean, imagine all the people that like 9/11, like were standing at the bottom of the fucking tower and just like standing there looking.
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whoa! And it's like, maybe we should get the fuck out of here before this 500-foot tall fucking building decides to fucking come down.
Yeah.
I bet there was a shitload of people that died that way. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
awestruck, like
Yeah.
staring up at the sky that were only like a block and a half away. Wow, that's crazy. And then it comes down. It's like, oh, I just made a terrible mistake. Like that view was not worth this building coming down.
Yeah. Too soon.
Oh my God, you're such
Um,
a baby bitch.
Well, I got down to 180.0 on the dot. Now I'm back up to 183 for some reason. But I am
Do you weigh yourself naked or clothed?
pure naked.
Yeah.
I go to the
think
bathroom
that's affecting
before.
my numbers.
I go to the
'cause I did it
bathroom
naked.
before. I spit in the sink. I make sure there's nothing. I
Take your
there's
fake teeth out.
yeah, not wet.
just
Like
sit
I do
that
it
down.
pre-shower, not post-shower, because I feel like the wetness would weigh more. So you
You
gotta be.
masturbate first to drop that weight off.
Yep.
No porn though. No fucking porn.
No porn. It's January 21st. I have had no porn for 21 days, other than about 2 minutes of. There was just like 2 minutes of porn in 21 days, which is pretty good. 2 minutes, give or take. But that's good.
You can't just throw that out there and expect that I'm not gonna fucking put the brakes down on this train.
I'm still sober, in my opinion.
Have you noticed anything? Are you clear? Are you freer? Are you not?
Yeah, I think it's super good. It's super beneficial.
You're not turned on by your stepsister anymore. You know, like is that fading away?
I don't have a
Like-
stepsister.
Well, I mean, in your fantasies while you're on Pornhub, I mean, you start thinking about having a stepsister.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. I think it's just it's just really easy. It's not hard. It's not a hard thing to do. I'm not like struggling.
Something's hard, dog.
I'm not struggling. It's easy. It's fine. It is what it is. But then I've incorporated some weightlifting too with my 40 minutes a day of cardio. And yeah. Going
Well,
good.
that's just fantastic. But have you
Thanks.
does it feel better? Like, do you notice anything other than just patting yourself on the back for not watching porn? Is your brain different? Do you feel different?
Yeah, I don't know how to exactly describe it. I mean, it does feel better though. It's not like I'm missing something that I need.
Yeah.
It's like I dumped
we-
something I didn't need.
We've had this full conversation on this show before about our views on pornography socially. But I was talking to a kid I game with all the time last night, and he's 23. So he's like in that age where you should be. I was a way different 23-year-old than he was. Like, I was way more sexually motivated, way more party motivated, and he's not.
Yeah.
Like, just doesn't. And it's like, I feel like he's not alone in his peer group doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like more and more men are isolating, and women are like like we just every year just more isolation and more isolation. And it's like, you know, we brought up porn, and I was like, yeah, I think it's, you just think about what it's doing is men can just jack off, get their dopamine release, and go to bed. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you just think about when I was coming out of high school, fuck, most people, it wasn't, the internet and computers were not what they were. And phones weren't what they were.
Yeah.
In 2007, you couldn't watch porn on your phone.
Yeah.
It was like, I didn't own a computer coming out of high school. You know, I was poor. So it was like, I didn't have a computer, didn't have shit for 4 years, didn't watch much porn. You know, I really didn't.
Right.
Like, fucking not much porn at all. So it's like, you're engaged. You're out there fucking trying to get laid. You know what I mean? Trying to make connections. So there's that. And we were talking about last night. I was like, that is like changing society to where dating is just like dropping off. And then you just throw in the Tinder thing to where it's like this weird, like, I don't know, like you're a fucking king now. Just like, you know what I mean? Fuck you and fuck, it's just such a weird,
Yeah.
I don't
it's
know.
weird.
I am happy that I don't have to do that.
Yeah, you should.
Like, I'm so glad. And like, I did have to do it towards the end, and I hated it. I hate texting someone that you've never talked to in person is fucking bananas. Like, I cannot wrap my head around it. And then my wife loves to bring up how poor my texting game is. And she's like, I don't know how you ever got laid because your texting game is fucking hot trash. And she's like, you answer with like one sentence, 5 words. And it's like, you don't do that to girls. You know what I mean? I'm like, what?
No,
It's like, I thought I texted fine. And she's like, yeah. Well, she would tell me like multiple times, she'd be like looking with her friend at text messages. And they'd be like, is he pissed off at you? And she's like, no, that's just the way he texts. And I'm like, what? It's like, dude, people really take, like, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Well, we can't get into this too much, but like, but then you'll be like, you know, you don't want to text someone for a long time that you've never met in real life. So then you just cut to the chase and say, let's meet today. Let's go out tonight. Let's go for coffee today. Like, let's skip the texting stuff. And I'll tell you, you know, 99% of the time they say that they would like to talk for a long time before actually meeting somebody.
Yeah, and
That's the standard.
I have never. I tried for years with like the first one I tried was like 7 years ago. I tried Plenty of Fish for a little bit, but dude, honestly, it was like 1 week, and then I was just like, dude, I can't. Like I just went into it, tried for a week, went out of it, and then tried Tinder for like 3 weeks or something like that. Yeah. Never made talked to maybe like 4 girls. And like, dude, I would get irritated though. I'd be like, this is fucking stupid. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, you're a dumb bitch. Like, fuck this. Like,
That's fucking funny. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. How the fuck did we get on that?
Well, no, it's just like, I don't know. We're taking a lot of turns here, but it's really fucked.
Isolating and porn and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fucked what we've done.
Well,
And
no,
I'm
the
glad
thing
I'm
with
n-
the porn and you, Eric, just wants to sit around jerking off all day watching porn and says it's fine for everybody. It's about not having instant gratification in your life every day and learning to delay it for better, more permanent things than just you're trapped in your garage for the rest of your life watching porn.
Yeah.
Instant
Yeah, if you like
gratification is pretty much
If you like
bad.
a finger up the butt, dog, don't just watch it, dog. Go out there and be about it. You
Yeah.
gotta delay that gratification to get a digit in there.
Right, if
And
that's,
you're never
yeah,
going
if
to get a
that's your
digit
thing.
in there.
Yeah, if that's your thing. It's just the instant and it's the same thing with food. It's like the instant
You don't like a
gratification.
digit in your butt, Brad?
No, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm a simple fucking guy. But
Uh-huh.
it's you want to just sit around
That's what fucking Dahmer said, dog.
You want to sit around just jerking off all day, drinking and eating bad food. That's just you're a slave then to instant gratification.
Yesterday I went to McDonald's, so you can go ahead and just have at me. And just be like, you fucking fat piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's why you're always sick. And
Yes.
You're a terrible human being.
Yes.
I was starving, and the
Doesn't
wife
matter.
didn't do
No,
her
you weren't.
duties and didn't make me fucking lunch, dog. And that's a whole other goddamn issue. But
not starving.
I was so hungry, and I went there, and I got a quarter pounder with cheese, which I don't think I've ever actually had from McDonald's.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I've ever ordered that. And a 10-piece McNugget, and I was starving. She gets a chicken with cheese, a McChicken with cheese. We go through the drive-through. I drive through the parking lot, stop and and then just I'm gonna eat before we go to Safeway. I'm gonna get some food in my tummy because I'm starving. And I take 3 bites, bam, 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 and I'm like, this is actually, I don't know why I've never ordered this. This is a pretty goddamn good sandwich from McDonald's. This is comparable with the Big Mac. I love the Big Mac. And it's this is pretty damn good. And then I drop it, dog. And it fucking hits the floorboard of my car. And I'll tell you what, I have never been so mad in my entire life. I was so hungry. So fucking hungry. And it hits the ground. And my wife saw the pure anger. It was just anger. And we got the baby in the back. And I'm looking at the ground, and I just see a sandwich enter my face. And she's just like, take my sandwich. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I don't want your sandwich. I want that fucking sandwich. I was very upset by it.
That's the most non-sad story I've ever heard in my life.
It was a pretty big deal yesterday, dog.
Well, guess what? My doctor's appointment is scheduled for February, and when they tell me that you are no longer type 2 diabetic, I can now point my finger at the millions of diabetics in this country and say I'm better than all of you. I've put my foot on top of you and stepped up out of all of you, and I can just push you all down and say I'm better than you people.
That's fantastic news.
Yeah, it's
dog.
going to be fantastic. Yeah, exactly. Just take some
You
self-control.
hate Lizzo? Is that what you're saying?
I don't see what's so special about her.
She's fat, okay? And she is beautiful.
No, she's not. Also, just for the record, next week we can skip the show. The week following that, I have to do a show, whether you're here or not. I'm going to because I just want to do my Super Bowl preview show. It's my favorite thing to do. So,
Okay,
just for
sweet.
the record.
Dude, you have time. You get a week off at a time, right? 7 days,
Mhm.
6 days?
Yeah.
Dude, come on. Brad.
What?
Seriously. I know you're not going to do it because you don't do anything ever. You're just like this hermit crab that hangs out in his house. Dude, fly down to Portland, dog. You can do it. You're a single guy. On our week off, let's do the 100th episode. Fly here for a day. Hang out with me. Let's do a fucking episode.
That's too soon. That's 3 more episodes.
But we do them every 2 weeks. That's like 3 months from now, dog. Fucking.
No, I can't do it. That's too soon.
That we can make that a month away, dog. Just a month away. Just come fly to Portland. You have 6 days off. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I have stuff to do.
Get someone to fucking watch the dog for a day. Fly in.
It's a whole there's no way. It would have to
Come
go into a
on,
kennel.
dog.
The dog has to go to a kennel, which means I would have to get shots for it and do all that stuff.
Take it over to fucking Vince's house for a night, dog, and just
Vince
be
is
like,
never
watch my
here.
dog.
No.
Work it out. He's there for 6 days at a time.
He's
2
here for
weeks
2
or
weeks
whatever.
at a time. Yeah, no, I'm not
So-
doing that.
Oh, come on, Brad. Make it happen, dog. I would do it for you.
Episode
if I didn't have-
150. Episode 200.
No, come here for 100, dog. Let's do a life one together. You have 6 days off. What do you do? Like,
It would be easier for me to drive.
No, it wouldn't. How would it be easier to drive 4 hours to Portland?
Well, because I could take the dog, and I wouldn't have to deal with all that bullshit and deal with canceled flights, which I'd be going through Denver, and all that bullshit. It's 12
Denver
hours.
is the easiest fucking airport in the United States, dog.
No,
Like,
it's not. No, it's not.
Yes,
No,
it is.
it's
And I've
absolutely
been there
not.
more than you have. Okay? It works like a dream. I would take Denver International over every
No, the
single
problem-
airport I've been to.
No, the
today.
problem is Denver to Williston. That's the problem. It's not Denver to Portland. Then no one's ever had a problem Denver to Portland. It's Denver to Williston. There's only 2 flights a day, so one gets canceled, and now it's all backed up. It's 12 hours to Sandpoint, and then 8 hours to...
Dude, it isn't fucking, there's nothing special going on in fucking a month. Just, it's
No,
going to
I
be
know.
fine, dog.
Well, maybe. Oh, put me down as a maybe.
That's a bullshit thing to keep the conversation going on, is what that is.
No, put me down as a
You're
maybe.
you're a free human being. By the way, before we got on the show, Vince called me and he said to say hi to you. And he said, "Tell Bradley I said hi." So
Hi.
I'm saying that now.
Oh,
but I also want to say he says a lot how much of a bitch you are and how much you have 6 days off and you never do anything.
Money.
And you have 6 days off.
Money.
You have 6 days off. Go
I know.
do something. That fucker
Money.
drives back to Idaho and goes and hangs out with people and doesn't stay in the state that you bitch about 24/7. I've never heard anybody bitch about where they're at so much. You have 6 days and you're not broke, dog. You're not 2007 Beebs with $5 in my pocket.
Yeah.
Like, you have the money to do things, and you're a young man.
If I
complaining about
spend,
things all the time.
if I spend, I'll never leave. be able to
$500
leave.
bucks. $500, dog.
Yeah, I
For a-
can. Yeah,
Just
I could swing that. But I'm saying if I spend a lot on the days off, I'll never be able to leave here.
But I'm not asking you to do it every 6 days or
Right.
every fucking week. It's
Right.
like 100 episodes. Go do something random. It's like, no, I do my I do my football game once a year, and that's all I do ever.
And a
then
couple Idaho
I go to
trips.
I go to Sandpoint once a year. So
For 3
365 days, there's like 5 days that you plan something, and the rest is like, can't leave, dog. I have 6 days off, but I can't leave. Just gonna sit here, not watch porn.
Yeah, save money. When I go to Idaho in the spring, I go for like 15 days.
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
Well, maybe I can swing it. We'll see.
It would be cool. I think it'd be a fun thing. We could set live. It would totally change the dynamic. It'd be a
It'd
good
be sweet.
special we could do.
Yeah, yeah. No, look, and hey, if we get to 99 and then it's like, all right, I'm going to come down there for 100, I'll just say, we'll just wait a month. Whenever I can do it.
Well,
we'll just
no,
do it.
I thought about this. If we actually do and you plan on coming and it doesn't jive right with the actual 100th episode, we can just we'll just make the fans wait, dog.
Yeah.
And we could, even if we meet up and do, like, technically the 100th episode, we'll just record it, bank it, and then release it after we do the 100th episode release. And they'll just have to wait fucking 3 weeks for an episode to come out.
Yeah. I hear you.
We really should be doing, on these days, we should do what other podcasts do and do 2 podcasts. And then, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We should, and then we wouldn't have to worry about next week. And then we just release the next, every podcaster does that. I don't know if you've realized that, but they all like do 3 podcasts in one day, and then they don't have to do a podcast for 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know.
Which, speaking of that, it's been a great episode. See y'all later.
Yeah. I mean, it's a, you know, I kind of like the idea. I mean, be a lot of driving, but it'd be fun to get away for a minute.
It'd be fun. You bring your dog. They can meet my dogs. You got a yard you can hang out in. You can take over the garage, dog. I have a place you can sleep that's like your own space. It's not bad in here.
I'm not. That sounds, now I'm going the other direction.
You want to go to a hotel? Save your money, dog. The garage is nice. I have a nice
No,
couch
you're going to be
here.
in the garage till 3 a.m. drinking and listening to old fucking Zeppelin records or some shit.
Hey, Brad,
You'd
come
be like-
over here. Check this out, dog. If you wait till the 5-minute mark on this song, woo!
No. And my whole list of content for that episode will just be bitching about traffic in certain fucking cities. That's going to be the whole entire thing. God, I hate the fucking traffic in this goddamn state. I can't wait to get out of here.
I don't know why I like you, Brad.
I'll leave here with no content and show up fucking ready to fly for 3 hours about fucking
Dude,
drive people.
don't you ever read those like posts from people when they're dying and they're like, what do you regret? You're like checking all those boxes of like what you're going to regret when you're older. Like,
Oh,
you know,
God.
you just don't do anything. All you're going to have to look back on is hanging out with your family and going to a football game fucking 40 times. And be like, what else did you do? Well, I worked.
I disagree.
And I saved money.
I disagree.
And I complained about it.
I
Live life,
disagree.
dude. Buy that drum set, dog.
No.
Buy the drum set. Go on a vacation. Like, have some fun, dog.
Dude,
You're
I
too-
do have fun. Fuck you. You never go on vacation. Whenever you get 5 seconds off work, you go right back to Sandpoint. Go to Hawaii.
Well, I love my family, okay? Don't you ever say that.
Yeah, and I go there too, but then I go other places. You have your
Where do you
kids
go?
only know 2 cities in this world, Portland and Sandpoint.
That is not true.
There's nothing there. You got to go somewhere else. I go way more places.
We go on trips all the time, dog. Not big trips. Yeah, we haven't gone to Hawaii. But it's really hard for me to justify 4 fucking plane tickets for 2 people who are not going to enjoy what the amount of money that's being spent on them is. So that's real fucking hard. If we go to Hawaii, kids ain't fucking going, dog. They can go hang out with someone else. Because
Right.
I'm not spending thousands of dollars for someone that isn't going to remember any of this shit. That's fucking stupid. Don't take a 3-year-old to Disneyland. He does not give a fuck.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
Yeah.
He does not fucking care. Wait till they start making memories. Think back in your own childhood. When do you remember shit? Yeah, about 6.
Yeah.
Then things are like starting to. Yeah, wait till 6.
Yeah,
Don't do
yeah.
shit till they're 6.
Bro,
And we go out to the beach all the time. We do things. You just sit at home and don't masturbate.
No, I masturbate. I just don't watch porn. No.
I told.
Look. Whatever. It's North Dakota. It's fucking sucks. Yes. And plans will be put in place to leave North Dakota. I had a great phone call the other day, and things are moving.
It would be cool if you came down here for a 100th episode. I think it'd be a cool thing to do.
I do
You
too.
Get out and do something in a new city, and I could show you a different part of Portland than you. But that's the problem with you driving too. Is like you came to Portland, you drove in, and then drove the fuck out like 4 hours later. Like that's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Like you have 6 days off. Relax a little bit, dog. Like,
Are you talking
Relax.
about when I went there when I went there before?
yeah.
I was working at Quest. I had
I know.
Saturday, Sunday.
I compared. I know.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a bad comparison, but it was the only comparison where you went to Portland. But
Mm-hmm.
you didn't get to experience Portland at all. You didn't go. You
I
didn't
don't
go
really
check
care.
out food.
Yeah. Food is fine. I don't really care about like, I don't know.
Having an experience. Yeah, I don't care about that, dog.
It'd be an experience one way or the other. I'll look into it.
Okay. Okay. Let me start the next thing I want to bring up. Really,
Uh-huh.
the only thing I've written down for this one.
Great.
And I'm sure I've said my disgust in the last 6 months with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, I just don't like him very much.
Well, yeah, you
It's
think
my whole
you think
opinion.
you know more about space and time than he does.
Well, I have a proof now that he's not this almighty fucking smart fucking person. He was on Rogan. There's a clip that's been going around the internet. Years ago, he was on Rogan, and he was explaining how pipes burst in a house.
Uh-huh. Oh, boy.
And it all sounds good and great. I have it down to a T because I've listened to it. I was like, that is really interesting. So he says you have a pipe under your house. He's like, the outside temperature around the pipe goes from 32 to 31 to 30 to 29, 28, 27. It's dropping. And inside that pipe, you know, the temperature inside the pipe is above 32 degrees, or else it would be frozen. You know what I mean? And ice is bigger than water, so it would burst your pipe. That's the whole fucking problem. But you start thinking about it, it's like houses can get down to 21 degrees and the pipes still don't burst. You know what I mean? And so what he's saying is the tension, the pressure from the pipe actually keeps the water warmer. Like it literally can't drop below that temperature because the pressure of the pipe heats the water up. You know what I'm saying? Like the water is trying to expand, and in the process of trying to expand, it actually keeps it above 32 degrees. So the temperature outside keeps dropping, and then in a flash, it drops below 32 degrees. Like literally, boom, drops, pipe bursts. It solidifies in one action. And that's what he said on Joe Rogan. I was like, that's insane. That's really cool. Fucking absolute bullshit. And then I'm watching This Old House, and it wasn't like he was testing this. It was just he was explaining how pipes burst. And they had a whole thing set up with gauges, and he shows the process and how a pipe bursts. And he shows the pressure. You're frozen. Are you still there? Oh, no. You're just dead frozen in my screen.
Sorry.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry.
They have a pressure gauge, and they take air, and they have a little chamber, and they use pressurized air to freeze the pipe. And it shows, as he's cooling the pipe down, it shows the pressure inside the pipe go up. And he's proving that water is freezing in the pipe slowly, like gradually, as the pressure builds up.
Okay.
So, Neil deGrasse Tyson, in his own field, that he should be know all, and he goes on, I'm this fucking super smart guy. He's wrong about something that's really basic to what he should know. To his fucking field, he's wrong. So that's my whole point, is you can be smart, you can go have degrees, and blah, blah, blah. You can still fucking be wrong. He can still be wrong. And it's just funny to me that he's wrong about something that's his field. Like,
Okay,
that's
wait.
But
He's
then he's
wrong.
out there talking. But then he's out there talking about like the vaccine. It's like, this motherfucker shouldn't be talking about this at all. This isn't his field. But
I
just
never
because he
heard
has a
talk about the
doctorate in it,
vaccine.
he has been on a rant about vaccines. He is super defending Fauci, defending all that. He's been on all these podcasts, like being very on the left about how they handled everything and that it was good. And any argument he had, like, it's really been irritating because he's like, if you argue anything against how the pandemic was handled, he'll be like, well, that's not a good case study because there's no control. But then he'll literally argue the flip side of it. If you like bring up Sweden and you're like, well, look at how they fucking handled blah, blah, and look at their numbers. He'll be like, well, they only have 1 million people in their country. And he's like, he essentially is arguing, well, the reason it took so long is because all the people didn't get vaccinated. And that's why it's like, fuck you. There's no control in your argument. Like, so you're just hypothetically saying if everyone got vaccinated that the pandemic wouldn't have been a bigger deal. It's like, you're a fucking asshole. You're literally, your argument and that there's no control. You don't know that. I fuck him. I
love him.
fucking hate him. I do not like him.
Wait, so he said that all the water freezes in an instant, and you're saying it happens gradually, and that's
Look it up, dog.
that's the thing he's wrong about.
It is a, but it's a pretty simple thing to be wrong about. Like, this isn't some crazy, like, and he's acted like, oh, I'm doing math on the moon size versus the Earth and how it fucking blah blah blah, like all this super complicated math Earth shit.
Yeah,
and it's like, but we're talking about fucking elementary school fucking science projects. You got wrong, dog. And you're on the biggest podcast in the world spreading like basic elementary level information wrong, and then you want to act like I'm super smart, I know what I'm talking about. Don't even question me, dog. I'm a fucking scientist. You don't believe in science? It's like you can be wrong too. Everyone can be wrong.
Yeah,
I
you can be wrong.
I don't fucking like the idea that just because you have a degree and you have a good vocabulary, that just shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. It's like, no, you can be wrong too, and you can have bad opinions. And
well, I'll have to take your word for it.
look it up. Do two things. Look up Rogan, Neil deGrasse Tyson, pipes bursting. Go watch that video. Then go type in this old house, pipes bursting. You'll find the videos. You find them, watch one, watch the other. And it's like, oh, he's wrong. He's wrong in how this process works.
Okay, that's interesting. I might actually do that to see if you're telling the truth or not. But
you just think I'm out here. You just think I'm out here Neil deGrasse Tyson in this argument and just throwing fucking bad fucking.
Look,
I don't ever say anything false, dog. Ever.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
Look, all I'm worried about is the pipes not freezing. I don't care how long it takes. That's where I'm at. But that's an interesting argument that you're putting forward. Because I do like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think he makes science easy to comprehend. He's not like you. He doesn't like your boring fucking science teacher in 7th grade. He's kind of makes it a little more easy to listen to.
Yeah, I don't like him, and I don't think he's as smart as everyone thinks he is.
I think I don't know. He's not the smartest person in the world, but for some reason he's like easily digestible.
Yeah. I don't like it. There's multiple things I don't like about him. He's on a lot of podcasts, and I don't like the way he podcasts.
Yeah.
He does not give a fuck about the conversation or what the other person says at all. He just moves to the next thing and like, let me explain how this works.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
no, he just asks you a fucking question, and you won't answer it. And he does the most annoying thing. You want to annoy the fuck out of me? Like, literally, if I'm in a group of people, I never see this firsthand, but if you do this firsthand to me, I don't give a fuck. I will punch you in the face. Like, no joke.
Okay.
This makes me so fucking mad. When we're in an argument, if someone's in an argument with me, or I watch people do this, and it's a very popular to do on the left. It's a total lefty argument thing to do, is someone says something, like you're in an argument, they say something, and you're like, ha, 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 yeah, blah, blah. And it's like, don't fucking laugh, you asshole. Like, you laughing doesn't make your point any more valuable. Like, don't try to laugh to discredit when people do this in arguments all the time. It's like, we're serious back and forth. I say something, and they're like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, don't fucking laugh, dog. We're having an argument right now. You laugh, like, that doesn't make you more smart. And it's a very... Pay attention. Watch a lot of videos on, like, arguments between Republicans and Democrats. If you see all the videos from, like, the Young America, where they go to all the college campuses, and they'll, like, Ben Shapiro or all that group of people that'll Republican figureheads that go to, and then you'll see liberal students get up and, like, ask them questions. It is 50% of arguments by the left against Republic. It happens all the time. If you just watch the argument take place, they'll do this. Hey, yeah, you don't know what you're talking. It's like that. Why did you laugh? Like, we're having a back and forth.
Yeah.
Let's keep back and forth. Don't try to discredit me with laughter. You're a fucking asshole. I hate when people do that, and that people do it all the time. You do that to me. We aren't arguing anymore about what we're arguing about. I am going to attack you. I hate it more than anything, dog.
Yeah.
There was a...
Sorry, I just stepped on a cat.
Yeah.
You know what I hate is videos of people opening something with one hand because they're holding their phone in the other video, and they're trying to unwrap something with one hand. I skip it so quick. It is so annoying to me. Trying to open an envelope or, like, get some tea bag out of something with one hand. Hate it. Drives me nuts.
I get that, but... Yeah,
because they're like fumbling and bumbling around, and now it's this 60-second video of them like holding it with their elbow in their other hand. I fucking hate it.
See, this is why you get fucking married, dog. 2 coffees. She brings and sets 2 coffees down. It doesn't matter if I drink the second coffee, dog. You bring it unprompted.
Okay, nice.
But wasn't that pretty cool? She just brought me coffee. God damn it. It's great being married. That's the kind of shit, dog.
That's sweet, man. That's awesome. Do you just give me your honest opinion here? Do you really would you really die on the hill that physical pain is worse than heartbreak?
Okay, dude. I don't know where we're gonna go. There's a lot of things.
No, we
that
don't have to
happen
go.
off air.
We don't have to go very far. I just want.
No. Don't bring up anything that's ever said off air. No, dude. Men, once you're above the age of 25, that's, I think, when you need to learn. Stop being, like, just emotions are trash. Like, you can feel the gravity of something, but don't be a bitch. Like, there's no reason to cry about anything unless you lose a child. That is literally the only thing that you're allowed to get emotional about, is when something happens to your children, or like anything with your children, because that is your sole fucking purpose in life, is to take care of these people. But once you're a man, your family doesn't matter as much. Your parents, your siblings, it's like they're their own fucking people. They're in charge of their own life. If anything bad happens to them, death, mortgage problem, whatever. It's like, I'm not going to shed a tear about that. They're adults. I'm an adult. I'm living my own life. Anything that happens, you get stressed. Anything. There's no reason to cry. There's no reason to be emotional. It doesn't help with anything. It only makes things worse. And you're the man. If you're around a group of people and you are a man that's in your late 20s, late 20s and on, people should look at you as someone who's going to fix problems, not cause problems. And if you're going to fucking sit around and complain about something, you are causing problems. You are not fixing a fucking thing. Like, nothing is being fixed. Therefore, you're not a man. You're being a beta. People are being betas if they're going to be emotional about heartbreak. The fuck out of here, dog. You're not 20 years old anymore.
Okay. I know what you mean. But
my wife could leave me tomorrow and I would not shed a tear. And it's not because I don't love her. It's like, I'm not, what are we talking about? I got things to do. My life has there's other things that are more important. And me getting where I'm going, if you ain't about it, get the fuck out of my way. Like, I can, I don't care.
Okay. But I'm saying you're saying that your toothache or something is worse?
Yeah. I mean, but even physical pain you shouldn't cry about. But that's real, and it's hitting, it's like,
I don't know. I think I get what you're saying, but then I think that, like, wouldn't, like, all the greatest authors, songwriters, musicians of history disagree with you a little bit?
Yeah, and some of the greatest art has been done by people that'll kill themselves. So, okay, like, art's cool. Art is cool. But if I'm not making money by it and it is not progressing my life, I don't have time to be emotional.
Yeah,
There's nothing good emotional that's going to come from me, okay? I'm not going to be famous for my music. I already know that, okay? I can't lean on that anymore. And this is a good PSA to 90... Oh, damn it, I never turned my fan off. Fuck.
Yes.
Coming through the whole fucking thing. Why didn't you say something? 99% of you fucking artist people, dude, you need to realize how fucking dumb you are. Like, realize it. You're never going to be famous. And really sit back and listen to your music. It's not that good. And I know that about myself. I'm not that good. I will never be famous. I got it.
Okay,
I
but you still want to play music.
But it's a hobby, and like it's...
Yeah, it's a hobby.
Being emotional, dude, and... Yeah, it's hard for me to write. I can't write emotional music. I can't do that. And I get, like...
Oh.
Kurt Cobain writing
but
some
you
shit
like
that's great, and I
emotional
love listening
music.
to it.
Yeah,
it's a good argument. I like where you're going with it, but I even disagree with that shit because I think, like, in all honesty, I think like most of the Beatles songs weren't that emotional. Like, they didn't go into it that emotional. They were just writing hit songs.
right.
And it's the best music on the planet.
Right.
So you can be like, well, yeah, I get it. Kurt Cobain was a troubled person and he wrote some great fucking music and it pretty much came from his troubled brain. But
yeah,
you can also write amazingly good music. So it's like a crutch. So okay, I'll accept the argument, but it's like the only time you can be emotional at all as a man. But if you're not if you're not writing music, shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear about it.
Yeah.
Stop being a bitch. Like, grow up.
I know.
Or just shoot yourself in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, be done with it.
I know what you mean. Yeah, okay, anyway. Just curious. You know about that dude, that Tennessee cop chick.
Okay, I'm not done. I'm not done with this.
Okay, fine, keep going.
You got me riled up. We're not
Good.
going to this we're not going to this cop yet.
Good.
Fucking Adam Carolla said a line the other day, and it's my new favorite line. I love it, and it's all roads lead to narcissism. All roads lead to narcissism. All of them. And they all do. And this is a real problem I have. I get heartbreak isn't really narcissism, but the real problem, you get on Facebook or even like a bunch of people in my family, just so many circumstances you see, tragedy happens, something happens in someone's life, and it's just, it's a tear. Blah, 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 blah. Woe is me. Woe is this. Woe is them. Fucking feel bad. Everything's so hard right now. Blah, 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 blah. All roads lead to narcissism. The only reason you're posting some. Look, I'm not saying the way I handled my father's death, you should like congratulate me on it. But it's like, no one gives a fuck, dog. No one cares my dad died.
Yeah.
Like, and even within my family, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just shut up. Like, it's done. It's done. And anything you need to do to like personally between the relationship you had with him and yourself, that's between you two. Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do with me and my mom, me and my sister, me and my brother. Like we're all adults. He was an adult. He's the oldest one. He died in the order you should die in. You know what I mean? Like, get over it. Like, and then anybody, like anything unfit, like the only one is my mom. That's the hard, like, I'm not going to say anything with how she's dealing with it. It's her partner. You know what I mean? But any like the siblings and stuff like that, it's like, stop it. Like, stop it. You know what I mean? Like, let's, and anytime they, like massive amounts of emotion, it's like, you're a man. Like, come on. Like, I just don't, maybe I'm a fucking sociopath. And recently a lot of people have been saying, you're a fucking sociopath. I have emotion. It hits my brain and it's like, is it worth it? No. Bam. Throw the emotion off to the side. Maybe one day in 20 years, that shit's all going to burst. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there that are like, no, you're just suppressing feelings. Yeah. And one day you are going to wreck. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. No, it's just be logical. Logical. Think like a fucking Marine would think. Is this a good thing to spend any emotional time on? No, it's not. Is it going to change anything? No, it's not. Yeah. So that's heartbreak, death, cheating. Is it going to change it? No, just fucking forget about it.
I think there's some happy medium between the people you hate and you, where you can have emotion or be sad about something, but you don't need to be sharing it with everybody or posting about it.
But even internally you gotta just let shit go. Yeah. You gotta just get the fuck over shit. It doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, I know.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. And with death or anything, like, to me, the big one with death is, I had my friend Mike died 9 years ago, and that was the first like big death I had that like fucked with me. And at the time, and I'm so glad I thought about it that way, and it's my theory with all death is they died. Okay, my friend died. He died young. I loved the kid. What if I really do think about them like in heaven, alive, like looking down at me. And it's like, what would they want? And I know what he would want for me is to... That kid, my friend Mike, I fucking love the kid. He was changing his life. He was the first person out of my friend group that really went balls deep into like, I'm not living this life anymore.
Yeah.
And he had moved to Wyoming and he was going to college. He had met this girl. He was doing great. He would call me like once every 6 months. We'd talk. He's like, I'm getting super into drumming. He knew what he wanted in life and he was pursuing it. And he's like, I'm not going to be a deadbeat. And he was a fucking awesome kid. And it's like, he died on his way. He was coming back for Christmas and got in a head on with a fucking semi in like Montana
damn.
or something like that. And him and his girlfriend both died instantly.
Jesus.
And I think about him, and I thought that right when it happened and all through my life, I think about him, and like originally I wanted to cry. And then I realized I'm being a narcissist right now. Like I'm wanting someone to see me like be emotional about it to get recognition for it. And I saw that about myself. And I was like, if he's in heaven right now watching me, he's mad at me right now. He's looking at me like, you're going to use my death to get sympathy from other people. Like, shame on you.
Yeah.
And that's where I see when anybody with death does this, it's like, shame on you. You're even more of a piece of shit for trying to get validation from your peers off of someone that died. You know what I mean? Like, go fuck yourself. What kind of sociopath does that? You know what I mean? Like, fuck you. Get over it. Stop complaining. And now, ever since then, I whenever I think about him, I'm like, would he be proud of me? Like, would he be proud of the choices I'm making? And it really affected me, and it still to this day affects me. With that kid, I think about him, and it's like, he died when he was going to college. Like, he was hyper focused on like, I'm gonna do good, and it's like, I feel like I need to do good now in my life in his honor.
Yeah.
Like that I want him to look at me and be like, good for you, man. That's what I want for you. And that's what I wanted in my life, is to do good. And so it's like, same with like my dad dying. It's like, I know if my dad is alive in heaven looking down at me, he doesn't want me fucking crying. You know what I mean? I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. Like, that's not what he wants. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why are you being emotional? And like, I get heartbreak and stuff like that, but the same shit almost applies in heartbreak. Is if you're broadcasting it to the world how emotional you're being, you're a narcissist. You're doing it to like, look at me, everybody. Post on Facebook. Life sucks, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that you're looking for that dopamine hit for someone to be like, oh no, you're such a good guy, or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, just shut the fuck up, dude. If she's gone, she's gone. If whatever, you know what I mean? It just is what it is. Like, what are we doing here? We're just gonna sit and complain? And then even for yourself internally, what are you going to do? You're emotional. What does it do? It doesn't do anything. And I don't like feeling bad. So it's a no-brainer. It's like, what? Like, well, you're just hiding your emotions. It's like, no, I choose to be happy. I don't like watching horror movies. I don't like thinking about negative things. Yeah. I want to focus on positive things. And if heartbreak or death or all this shit, I don't like thinking about it. That's not what I want to think about. I want to think about drums. I want to think about family. I want to think about a vacation. I want to think about bettering my life. There's no room. There's zero room in your life for anything negative. Yeah. Deal with it now in the moment. That's like, if you have a problem with someone, fucking head on. Deal with it, be done. Either we're going to hate each other or we're going to squash the beef.
Yeah.
And then move forward. Like, be happy. No negatives. And then any negatives that come that you can't change or just throw out, good. That's struggle. Any like struggle in your life, that's a good thing to conquer. Mm-hmm. If money problems come, good. You know what I mean? I love that David Goggins or whoever the fuck that, like, Jocko.
Yeah.
Fucking good. And it is true. Any problem in your life, after you've dealt with a big problem in your life, wasn't it the best you've ever felt once you've conquered that thing? Versus when you were 16 and went home and no problems ever, and then you woke up the next week and still didn't have any fucking problems, and woke up the next week and had no problems. But then you're like, man, I don't really feel very good about my life. Yeah, because you haven't done anything. You haven't conquered anything. Yeah. When you fucking come out of a bad situation and conquer it, best you're going to fucking feel. And it's true. So it's like, if you don't feel good, fucking either do something about it or or just stop thinking about it. Because, yeah. Sorry, I went off on that one. But all roads lead to narcissism.
Oh yeah, I
All
hear you.
roads.
Well, look, I've never said I'm not a narcissist. If there's a pattern of narcissism, believe it or not, and you are one too, a bit.
I don't think so. I'm a perfect human being.
Anybody who has a podcast or posts on YouTube has narcissism in them.
I would argue a little bit that my love, I jump from thing to thing to thing, and I wouldn't do this if I didn't find it interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
and you also have played music live before. Isn't there a level of narcissism in that like I want people to hear me?
There is, but I am telling you 99% of my intention. I do like the praise, but when you're on stage in that praise, that's not what I'm after. I'm not after the validation. I'm after the moment. If I could play, okay, here's a perfect example. If I could play in front of 10,000 people and have a band that I didn't like versus playing in a band by myself in a room with no one else in it, I would choose that band because it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Because that moment when literally when you play music, your brain gets sucked away from you and all those thoughts disappear and you live in the moment. And that feeling is the most powerful drug on the planet, bar none. That moment when you get done with a song 3 minutes, and any musician that's played in a band, that's played in a okay band or had that breakthrough moment, you'll get done. And there's nothing better in the world than like you stop me and you're like, dude, that sounded awesome. And that jacked is better than meth, heroin, ecstasy, maybe not ecstasy, but it's right fucking there with that just explosion of, and I wasn't thinking about anything. Your brain goes, it's meditation. It's like the perfect meditation. Your brain goes blank.
Yeah.
If you're on stage and you're thinking about like, oh, that girl's looking at me, or, oh, I'm getting the validation, you're not in it. You're not actually in the moment.
Yeah.
Like it's where that stanky guitar face comes from. Those people you're making weird fucking faces, dude. You were gone. You were so high on shit. So yes, there is narcissism, and I do like playing in front of people. I get that, but that's not what I'm after. And the podcast thing, I mean, it would be cool to do this professionally and get paid for it, but I guess everyone likes the dopamine hit from people so I can't say I don't like that. But when we started this podcast, it was more the technical side that really got me horny. Like I wanted to learn the editing for like I wanted to know how to do it. And that's and there's still a lot of things in this space that really interest me, all the behind the scenes shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and then if someone's just moping around, sharing stuff on social media or just keep bitching about some sort of pain, then what they're looking for is validation as opposed to what you do. And you don't need validation.
Okay. I need validation. Yes. Yeah.
I was agreeing with you.
No, I'm not. Yes. I'm just like everybody else. But
yeah, I know what you mean.
I definitely don't play music to go get chicks. That has nothing to do with it. I mean, it's a cool side effect that happens with that. But there is, it's 20/80. It's 20. I'm just thinking to myself about what I actually am doing. And I post a video on Facebook of me playing music. It's obviously not to be in the moment to play music. There's obviously a want to like share it and be like, look, I'm talented. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So there's narcissism there. Like,
yes, there is. Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about. It's an interesting world. I always, Joey Diaz.
Love me some Joey Diaz.
Well, I remember whenever he was on Rogan regularly, he would always say he has this one buddy who he's been friends for 20 years and they call each other once a week. And it seemed like he always had these people that he would always call every couple days or every week or something. And I was like, I would like more of that, of like people that aren't near me proximity wise, but like, you know, I always have that buddy that I'll call who's like across the country or something, and we just talk every few weeks or something. So I'm trying to make that a thing. And started this week with my brother, who I haven't talked to in a long time, but we talked, and it's going to become a regular thing. And fucking, I'm trying to get him on board to do some of my evil bidding for me and make plans happen. But yeah, I think that's a good thing. And maybe if we ever ended this show, or when we do, maybe I'll just call you every fucking couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. I don't do it with anybody, dog. I've lost all. If it wasn't for gaming, man, I don't talk to any. I have a real hard time. But I mean, I don't even talk to my family. I don't know. I get in like a flow, and I don't think about friendships. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just don't. I mean, there's friends that. Yeah, I mean, fuck. I haven't talked to my sister in probably 2 years.
That's not good.
And if it wasn't for meeting up with the rest of the family, I mean, my oldest brother, fuck, dude, if it wasn't for meeting up, we'd be at like 6 years. And not like a problem. It's just, it's weird. My family's really weird about that, though. We just don't communicate.
Well, I definitely do the same thing. I'm certainly not the first person to ever call, but I'm like, oh, I liked talking to that person now that they called me. So I'm just trying to just get in a different vibe now.
No, I like that you said that, and I should work on that. There's people in my life I should spend more time reaching out to.
Yeah,
because that's a whole thing too. You feel like a lot of times you're like, no one reaches out to me. You know what I mean? Like, no, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, did you reach out to them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's a two-way street, dog. Like, phone goes both ways.
Yeah, and there's certainly tons of people that I love that the fucking communication just died, and I have no desire to ever talk to them again. But some people, you're like, maybe we just bullshit for a second about football or business or throw some ideas around.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that cop that got a train ran on her in Tennessee. What a weird fucking... What the fuck is going on down there? Well, I kept...
She's so ugly, too.
I saw a couple memes of this person, and it's like... And I was like... I didn't get the joke at first, and then I finally found out the stories, and it's just like... Is every police department doing this?
I don't know the whole story, but everyone's seen the headlines, obviously, if you're on Facebook or anything. I had said something right before the show started, and he said, stop talking about it. But she is, I don't know how to explain it. There's some girls who are just hot, and they shouldn't be, they don't, like, check any of the stereotypical boxes of, like, a hot girl. And it's like her eyes.
No.
It's like you can see that she's dirty. In her, you look at her like they showed the picture of her and they're like, oh, she slept with half the fire department. It's like, totally understand. I can just look at her and I fucking get her image is exactly the image I would see of a girl that's banging all the cops. And it's like I think she's hot. Like she's not like supermodel hot, but she's got like that fucking slutty porn star hot type thing going on.
Oh, no, she doesn't.
Like
I think
amateur...
the only thing that might make her kind of hot...
I would 100% sleep with that girl. 100%.
I don't know. The only thing that would kind of make her hot is that she is a cop. That's the only thing she has going for her.
And I don't understand why it's a big deal. Who cares if people are cheating? Like, I don't get... That's like a weird thing in public is like how we like... throw people's dirty laundry like you're a cop, how dare you do this? It's like, who gives a fuck? Does it affect you at all? Are you saying you can't be a cop if you're cheating on your wife? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's
like,
a good point. I think maybe the last week or two has kind of been like a slow news week and people just grabbed onto this.
I really don't like, even like the Clinton thing, like him cheating, like, oh my god, he had sex with Monica Lewinsky in the it's like, who gives a fuck? Yeah. Like, Like, the only bad thing about that is it just makes us look bad as a country. But, like, saying, like, he can't do his job because he's cheating on his wife, it's like, I don't understand. Like, that's nobody's business. I guess when you're the president, it's, I guess, a debatable. But even then, it's like, the only person that matters to is your wife. If she's mad about it, then that's where the problem lies. It's like, oh, all these cops fucking failed the trust of the community. It's like, do they still show up to a house and do their job?
Right.
I don't get how they failed their community. Like,
Well,
who gives a fuck?
They all got fired.
Who gives? Yeah, no, totally. But who gives a fuck who they're fucking? Like,
Yeah.
I don't get. Like, who cares? That's such a weird. We do this thing in society where we all act like we're better than we all are. And I don't understand that. Like, we're all pieces of shit. Like, and we're all like you just look at like news and it's like, well, you did this. And it's like, you're acting like you don't have dirty laundry or you're not a piece of shit. It's like,
Yeah.
we're all pieces of shit. Like, we all are pieces of shit. And like this acting like, I can't believe you did X.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Well,
you
it's
haven't done X?
it's like elementary school recess shit, where it's like, if I don't want to get picked on today, what I'm gonna do is point out something in some other kid, and we're gonna pick on him for it.
We're
And then
such a banana species.
No one's
and
gonna pick
we
on me.
live. Yeah, we live in this world where like, I don't. It's like so many things. It's like if you just zoom out the tiniest bit, it's like,
yeah,
this is retarded.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, this is just retarded what we're talking about right now. And it's like, like, you just go to any like city council clip or whatever and what they're like arguing about, and it's like this is literally no different than the Lord of the Flies. Like, this is just children that are growing up yelling at each other, like, and acting like, oh, all my house is totally in order. Totally. I'm this great pillar of society, and you're a piece of shit. How dare you sleep with someone that you've lit the community down? It's like, what are you fucking talking about right now?
I think what she should do is start an OnlyFans, because she is now unemployed, and if she started an OnlyFans, I'd say she'd probably make $1 million in about 48 hours.
It's a great idea, and she probably should do that.
Thank you.
It's like it's even like all roads lead to narcissism. All roads lead to narcissism. You can literally plug that sentence into anything, and it makes total sense. It's like climate change people. It's like just berate people about how they live their life, and it's like, well, what are you doing to change this? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, nothing. But I just love to yell at people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you fucking piece of shit. Shut the fuck up. Like, everyone, just literally everything we ever argue about. It's like, if you just zoom out a little bit, it's like, we're all pieces of shit. Stop acting like we're all not narcissists. We all are. And it's clear as day. Just turn on the TV and look at it for 20 seconds and be like, narcissism. Like, you're all fucked up. You're all pieces of shit. And you're all acting like, oh, I'm so much better than you. You know what I mean? It's like, God, fuck you.
Yeah. I guess she shouldn't have been fired. But I don't think she's very attractive.
She just has that, like,
Cops are
she's
just
not
black.
ugly. You cannot say she's ugly. There's not like a dwarf
She's a
thing
5.
going on about. Yeah, perfect. For some reason, 5s to me are like, there's like a thing that happens with 5s. It's like, they're not like ugly. But for some reason, a 5, it's like, because you know a 5 is down. You know what I mean? Like, you know a 5 is down. So for some reason, it adds like 2 points to the 5. It's like, you know, it's not necessarily like the moped thing, like fun until your friends see you. It's like with a 5, you can like let your guard down a little bit. So it makes it like hotter. It's like you're willing to be like, you know, tell her your kinky fetish easier. You know what I mean?
I know.
Hey, why don't you do this a little bit? Whereas if you're with the 7, you're like, I'm not going to say that because then she might leave. You know what I mean? She might just put her bra back on and walk the fuck out of here. But it's like with the 5, it's like, I want you to fucking tie this rope around my balls and tug on it like really hard. And she's like, okay, I'll do that. And it's like, fuck yeah, dog. It's like,
I see what you mean.
That's
I'm
her
still-
hot. That's her hot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not fucking bending over backwards for a 5, but I know what you're talking about. There was another thing that happened on December 14th, and I have a picture for this. A giant evidence warehouse in the city of New York City burned to the ground.
Yeah, of course it did.
And it was a massive thing. This warehouse looks like, I don't know, the size of a fucking giant high school. And the cause of the fire is unknown.
What was inside of it?
Evidence from cases, from cold cases. No official cause of the fire has been released. They say it looks accidental, not criminal. No evidence for active cases. The evidence was from cold cases and will affect future appeals or the ability to retest evidence when technology develops. This is shady as fuck.
That is shady as fuck. I'm
That
sure
is
there's
shady.
there's a bunch of Clinton and Epstein shit hidden all over that place. And just
They
like,
said there was
"Oh."
vehicles in there, fucking all kinds of paperwork, all kinds of stuff. No cause for the fire. How do you find no cause for a fire? If you arson your house, they're gonna be like, we figured out exactly what happened. It's like, fuck. But then
Well,
no.
how
this,
does a fire? How does a fire? Like,
no cause? They don't know. Is it electrical? Is it fucking arson?
I don't understand a lot of fires. Like in modern day, if you have a warehouse that is meant to house evidence, let's just say you're an engineer and it's like, we're going to have a warehouse where we store a bunch of evidence. Is it pretty crucial that this evidence is protected?
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty crucial. There should be zero wood in this entire structure.
Right.
Zero. None. Like, not a single 2x4. No drywall. No nothing. It should be bricks, CMU walls everywhere. Roof should be made out of steel. Should have a tin roof on it. It should be zero chance a fire breaks out.
Right.
And if a fire breaks out, it should be containable. Like,
Yes.
It shouldn't just be all these papers just shoved in one pile, like making a mountain, and just like, it's good. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you should have like storage units that are all CMU enclosed. So even if a fire breaks out in that room, it's like, we only lost 10%, or we only lost this room. It's like, how?
Oh, great point.
How does a fire break out? Like, how? How does that happen? How is there smoke on the whole fucking building? That makes zero sense. Like,
Dude, it's somebody fucking wanted to destroy something in there is what happened.
and
I'll tell you what happened.
someone who designed and thought about maintaining a building like that's real shady. Like, real shady.
Yeah.
I could design cheap. I could design the same building cheap and have it legitimately fireproof. Like, it couldn't burn down. It's not going to burn down.
Yeah.
And if something catches fire inside of it, it's only going to burn a 10 by 10 thing and be done. It's impossible for it to catch the entire thing on fire.
Yeah.
You'd have to go through with a torch and burn every fucking pile. Like, it's just stupid. It's very fucking stupid.
That's just fucked. Cold case evidence. Motherfuckers. This is some dirty fucking Soprano Mafia bullshit, if you ask me. Shady as fuck.
Fucking assholes.
Yeah, fucking dirty.
I really want to know, like, what is actually, like, because it's really hard for me to, you get into an argument with, like, a conspiracy theory person. It's really hard for me to, like, wrap my head around, like, this Illuminati, like, there's, like, all these evil Mr. Burns type people, like, meeting up in a room, and they're like, mah, mah. Like, most things to me are, like, explainable. Like, but I really want to know, like, the Epstein Island, like, that whole fucking thing. And it's like, to me, it's explainable. It makes sense. I don't see this, like, evil empire of, like, people, like, making long-term plans. I just see, like, more corporate, like, you're rich, you fucking get dirt on people. Like, I want to know. And we're never going to know. We're never going to know, like, what happened on that island. We're not going to know the people actually involved in what really took place. And, like, how it all is. And that makes me really mad. That makes me really mad, and we're never going to know. And I want to know. I don't know how to expand on that more.
Well,
but
like they definitely killed him. They,
yeah,
like 100% killed him because
Well,
he
and what-
would have just given up the names of people that we like trust.
I don't get why people aren't up in arms over why is it that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, we saw every second of
Yeah.
that trial, and why the fuck we as a nation deserve to have seen the, how do you say her name, Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever?
Something.
Like
That's about as close as I can get.
that should have been like it should. The people who made the decision that should not be broadcast on the television should be taken to the town square and hung and be like, you're a piece of shit. We all deserve to see everything that happened there. I don't give a fuck what it does to all of these politicians and senators.
Right.
Fuck them. We deserve, as a nation, to see that case play out. Like, I don't give a fuck what, like, I don't
but
get
that's
how it's
not going to happen. If you're a billionaire, you're going to say, no, don't do that. I'll give you $1 million. Don't publicize the trial.
That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
That is showing how our system failed. Like, that ain't, that makes me so bad.
God, that fucking Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial is like the most of a trial I've ever seen in my entire life, and it was all forced down my throat, not willingly.
And it was so stupid.
It's so
that was
stupid.
the most, that was like a Judge Judy episode that they just
Yeah.
turned into a 16-hour fucking thing.
Well, I liked his lawyer. His lawyer was hot as fuck. She's about 10 times hotter than that Maegan Hall, Tennessee cop. I liked that lawyer.
I'm not saying the cop is like banging hot. I'm saying she's got a hotness about her. Like,
I know.
she's hot.
Yeah.
She's
Imagine if you were a criminal defense attorney and you're sitting in your office with your feet up and you just finished a case, you have nothing else to do. And you're just taking a relaxing day. You're going to go play 9 holes later with another lawyer and you're just sitting back. And then you get a phone call. And it's from the Idaho murder guy. And he's like, my parents are rich as fuck. I want you to represent me. And now your job, and you say, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it for $1 million flat. I'm not going to charge you billables. I'll do the job for $1 million flat fee. And he's like, deal. And now you got to fly up to Moscow, and you have to try to get that kid off and say, the cops didn't read him his rights. The cops searched his car when they weren't supposed to, this and that, and da-da-da-da-da. Couldn't have somebody else entered the house through this back door? And your job is now to get that guy off. That's some people's jobs. That's just crazy to think about.
okay.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I was
that's all
thinking.
you're saying. That's a crazy job, defense attorneys.
Well, yeah, like more. I don't think I could do that. And you got to. I don't know. That's just. I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, I just couldn't do that. That's fucked.
I could absolutely do that. 100% wouldn't bug me at all.
Okay, so what if it was a guy who had banged like hundreds of children?
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. I could logically think my way through that. That's, again, I think I'd be a great person for that. If I was smart enough to be an attorney, I think I'd be an amazing defense attorney because I could just totally take away the emotion and be like, this is my job. This is, and I believe in a system where you get a defense. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I think. This has nothing to do with me. I'm here to do a job. Like, if there's anything in the law, if I can exploit it, it's like either I'm now pointing out to the public that this law is fucked and I'm going to exploit it. And if that means this guy goes free, it means I did a good job. And I exposed how the system is fucked up in that way. You know what I mean? It's like, I could absolutely do that job. 0% chance that it would affect me at all. I'd eat that job up. I could 100% go. Even if the kid
tells you, he's like, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I definitely did that shit.
Yeah, dude. I swear to God, I wish I was smarter and I wish I did more studying because I think that is literally my dream job. I notice about myself all the time. I'll get in arguments with people and I will totally disagree with what I'm saying. But I'm debating it for the pure joy of just debating the person and just picking a hole in their theories and just be like, you're thinking about this wrong. I do it all the time. Like, I get in arguments with people where I actually kind of agree with what they're saying, But it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm just gonna take this just to argue you. I do it all the time. So,
Well, I do that too, but I also don't want to get people who killed other people free. But that's a job that's required in
I
society.
mean, I do agree. Like in that, what you're saying is if there's any emotional connection. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't do that case. You know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't you feel better if you actually thought you were...
like for me, and logically thinking about it, if I was a lawyer and that person contacted me $1 million to do it, I'd be like, it's probably not fair that I am your defense attorney because I have a connection to Idaho and a kind of an odd connection to that town and those people.
Yeah.
I might be a little unbiased. You should probably get an attorney from like Florida that doesn't have zero connection to Idaho, zero connection to these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would be my only reason for not doing it. It wouldn't be that I'm not capable of defending John Wayne Gacy. You know what I mean? Like I could do that. Like it's my job. It doesn't matter how I feel about it. We have set up a system, and I agree in the system. Innocent until proven guilty. Like it doesn't matter how heinous it is. You deserve a defense.
Yeah.
Like if the person has given you no defense, you still try. Like, but if there isn't much of a defense, I don't like even John Wayne Gacy. If they had no evidence at all, and even if you felt like, yeah, this dude did all this shit, it's like, well, we don't know 100%. If I can poke a hole in this at all, and I can convince a jury to not go through with convicting this guy, it's like, well, then logically, we don't actually have, you know what I mean? Like, then I shouldn't be emotional about that. You know, if I can convince 12 people to not put a dude in prison for the rest of his life, it's like, well, there's obviously a little bit of a hole in this whole fucking thing. So, you know, always err on the side of maybe not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah.
So,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd feel better if you thought you were doing a good thing. But I know what you mean.
You know, this kind of ties into this. A lot recently, I've been seeing a lot of videos, and it really bugs me how there's a real problem with it's a really hard thing to think about, but with like child protective services and shit, like, dude, there's real problems in this whole thing with child protective services, and a lot of people get in fucked situations where they shouldn't be in fucked situations. I don't know if it's, I think it's just the algorithms through TikTok and shit sends a lot of these like things, but there's a whole lane in TikTok of people like explaining things that have happened with CPS, and they're fucked. Like you can get in, like we almost had this, like kind of like, but we had CPS at our house for we went to the hospital because the baby fucking fucked his head up, and it's like when we first had him, and it's like, yeah, and it was, dude, like you are at complete mercy to a government agency.
Yes.
For just a dude that shows up at your house. They can take your children.
Yes.
Like just off willy-nilly.
That's
and
true.
It happens all the time. There's 230 million people in this country. There is thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
There's thousands and thousands of times that people get separated from, like, and it's getting really bad. You got to think about.
And sometimes it should happen. Sometimes they're saving life.
Yes,
lives.
and that's the real problem. Is people are fucked. So it's like where it's really hard to think about. But then I think the climate in America is it's getting to a point where the hatred for one another is getting so amped up that now you have the same circumstance with CPS. You have someone that's like almost politically motivated to hate you. You know what I mean? Like, especially like here, if you live in Oregon and you're like, you have guns in your house and you have CPS show up, you're not having some pretty libertarian dude show up at your house and like judge you. You have some fucking hardcore liberal dude showing up at your house, judging how you raise your children.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the way I grew up is there were shotguns behind the door everywhere in your fucking house. And that was normal and it was completely safe. Right. You know what I mean? Dude, if CPS came in my house and there was a shotgun behind my bedroom door,
Yes.
my children would be taken away for months and
Right.
put in foster care.
Right.
Is that right? Fuck no, that is not right. And that's like an extreme. That happens to people. I heard a story I saw a TikTok, like a 3-minute TikTok of a Dr. Phil episode. And this dude, it's a little girl. She's like 5 years old, and you can fucking tell this bitch is a sociopath. Like, she is not a normal human being. She does not feel emotion. She, like, when they to ask her about like bad things she's done, she like gets kind of like a little smile, and it's like, fuck that little kid. And they're like interviewing this little kid, and they're like, and she had told teachers or whatever that her dad had hit her. And like blah, blah, and like, oh, my dad beats me and stuff like that. And it's like they have like 5 children, and the dad got kicked out of his own house and couldn't come to his own house and have zero contact with his kids because he has a fucking sociopath little kid that's like making up stories. And it's fucking like the other 4 kids are like, Dad never does any of this. And he's like, no, she was screaming at the kitchen table, and I told her to fucking, blah, blah, and I picked her up, and she went limp wrist and slammed her head against the fucking deal, and then told everybody that I fucking beat her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, and then I have to leave my house, and it's like that. Just shit like that is terrifying.
Yeah,
terrifying as a parent. It's like my biggest fear, aside from them like killing themselves somehow. Yeah. Like, it's my biggest fear that someone interjects into my life and says, "Oh, you're a fucked up parent." Like their teacher, she says something at school and is just like, and then they call CPS. You know what I mean? They come to your house and you are at total mercy. They have the right to walk into your house and investigate everything in your house. It's like, what the fuck is happening right now?
That's crazy. It seems like throughout my life, I've like never really even heard about that. It's like, that exists, but like even as a kid, you never heard of like CPS.
Well, I think it's much more of a liberal state thing where they push that shit way more.
Yeah.
And then you're in a city to where bad shit actually happens to kids. I'm not saying in Sandpoint bad shit doesn't happen to kids, but you're only talking about a handful of kids that are actually in precarious situations. Like,
yeah.
But in Portland, dude, I mean, we had the guy come, it was, so this would have been like a year and a few months ago. This dude came and he super cool but it was weird. And he was at our house for like an hour, and then he sits and fills out all this paperwork, and he's like, I see this was obviously you guys aren't, you guys are good parents, blah, blah, blah. But he like told us some of the stories, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, I had to, because he was a black dude and he's like real small guy. And I was like, I asked him, I was like, aren't you kind of like scared to go in some people's houses? You know, and he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I am. He's like, fucking, I had to go to a bunch of bikers' house the other day and take their kids away from them. And he's like, that was pretty fucking terrifying.
If he's doing that, he's showing up with a fucking 2 cops.
Yeah, but he still like had to do the initial check by himself. Like, you're going into a bunch. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can see each side of it, but
dude, it's like there. I remember when I was like 6 up to age maybe 10. I was in some kids' houses that I genuinely would get scared sometimes, because it was like you'd leave the house for the day and you would just run around town as a kid, and you'd be back before the fucking sun was down. And I'd go into friends' houses all the time and stuff like that. And there was times when it was like, I don't know, this feels like kind of a dangerous house, like a very poor, this is not like a good home situation. I would kind of feel. And there'd be like weird people sometimes in there in places. But it's like, should those kids be taken away from their family? Like, not necessarily. You know, that's just how that's just the hand that some people are dealt. I don't know.
Dude,
we were just playing video games, but there's weird shit going on with like older people all around, and I could tell there was like, and there was one house like some guy got stabbed, but then I'd still go hang out over there. And it was like, I don't know, it was just weird shit.
Dude, I feel like I may have told this story on this podcast before, but when I worked at Burger King, there was some people that worked there that were real low-life people, and they were older people. And then me and my buddy Tiberius were about the same age, and we were going to buy fucking drugs. but at this time, not bad drugs. Like these people that we worked with, they said they had honey oil, and which is essentially hash, and fucking me and this kid drive out. They give us the address, how to get to their house. We drive out to these people's houses, and it's like out farm country, out in the middle of fucking nowhere. We drive up, turn up their road, dude, and it's like this long, like mile road or quarter mile up into this house. And then you just broken down cars everywhere, like 6 RVs that are all broken down, 3 double wide trailers, which just shit everywhere. Just so nasty. Like this weird compound. Dude, you go in, like just trash, smells everywhere. And there's like 6 kids, like just about. Like little fucking kids.
Yeah, there's just like a path. There's like a path through the house.
Dude, but no, I mean, this house was fucking, dude.
Yeah.
So this dude that like the main dude, it was a whole family, and there was like a grandma, and she was fucking odd as fuck. And then there was a son, and he was like 30, and we were 17, so he's way older than us, and he was jacked. Very big dude. And, but he was like half mentally retarded. Like he literally was disabled, like mentally, but he was involved in all these like terrible things. And supposedly what was going on with this family is they would get in trouble all the time, like get arrested. And then he would claim it's like, I'm mentally handicapped, and they just let him back out. So he'd get caught all the time doing things. And he's back out a week later. And like, he's fucking selling meth, doing all kinds. They were cooking meth like he got away with that family got away with everything because they were all like mentally handicapped. So they'd get in trouble and then be like, yeah, I'm mentally handicapped, and they'd be like, oh, and they just let him back out again. And fucking dude, talk about the sketch. I can't believe looking back, it's like Bill Burr I think has a funny, or no, Tom Segura has a great skit about like, you're going to tell your kids what you did for weed when you were a kid, and they're not going to believe you at all. And it's like, this is one of those circumstances. It's like, no, I went into a fucking meth den with a bunch of really bad people to go buy weed, and fucking like pit bulls all chained up. Like, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what are we doing here? And the first time we went, dude, like everyone is staring at us. Like the people are like coming out of these RVs. Cause there's like 20 people that are living in this compound, and people are like looking around, like out looking through windows and shit. We're like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, we are going to get murdered. And luckily, when we went to whole other story, I'm sure I almost guarantee I've told this story, but months before, I ran into this dude on the side of the road and gave him a ride halfway to Clark Fork at like midnight while it's pissing rain, and he was covered in tattoos. Horrible looking human being.
I think you told
and I
that
just pulled
story.
pulled over with my buddy and gave him a ride, and he's like, dude, you're awesome, blah blah blah. Well, 6 months later, I'm at this house, scared out of my mind to buy drugs, and he pops out of one of the houses. He's like, I know this motherfucker. He's the coolest dude ever. And I'm like, oh, thank the fucking Lord. You know what I mean? Like, fucking thank you. And then everyone was like, oh, he's cool? Okay, blah, blah. And then everyone, like, stopped paying attention to us and let us go buy our weed and get on our way. And it was like, oh, my God.
So should the kids be removed from that house?
100. They were cooking meth in the house, with kids, like little children. It was not a good sit, and they're all methed out. Like, everyone there is high as a fucking kite, doing horrible things.
Dude, I don't know, like, I was so young, but I feel like I've been in those kind of houses when I was like 6 years old, hanging with just a friend from school that you just don't realize how bad it was. But those were the vibes that I would get. Like, at least 2 houses I can think of that I was like, these are dangerous. But I was like 7 years old, and you would just go into your friends' houses and shit. I don't know. Nowadays, I'm sure parents are like, I got to meet their parents, or, have them all come over here or something like that. But back in the day, it was just, you just wander. Yeah. That's how everybody grew up molested.
Yeah, I think about a situation once when I was like 6, and I'm pretty sure I may have been real close to getting molested. And I think at the time, I was just a little kid, and I'm like walking around the neighborhood, and I just go in my neighbor's house that lives like that parents had never talked to each other, nothing. It was just this old guy. And he's, oh, you want to come in? And I'm like, hey, yeah, sure. And he's like, you want a soda?
That's
You know what I mean?
crazy.
And I'm just like drinking soda, like,
Oh
hey, how
my
you doing? Blah,
God.
blah, blah.
Oh, that is nuts. Yeah.
That was the 90s, dog.
Yeah. That's craziness. Yeah.
Well, you want to wrap up?
Yeah, there's football on today. I got to go to the store before the game starts. I got to get ready.
Yeah, dog.
Got to get ready to go.
I feel like this was a much better episode 97. I was
glad
very
you think so.
talkative.
Yeah, you were.
Episode 97. My name is Eric. This is Brad. Erick and Brad Show at gmail.com with any questions and concern. We did have Chris, right? Write an email about
Detrimental.
detrimental.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
I told him Eric
Brad.
projects. I said Eric projects his own things on everybody else. Since I don't know what
but
detrimental
there's
means,
a bunch
I don't
of
think anybody
people-
knows what detrimental means.
No, there's a bunch of people that agree with me. And real quick add on before we wrap this up is I was doing a job this week for this lady, super nice, and obviously she had money. It was a very nice house I was at. And I used detrimental, and I didn't mean to. Like, it just came out of my mouth. And I know for a fact I used it wrong. Like, I caught myself. The word comes out of my mouth, and I end the sentence, and I'm like, I just used that word wrong.
Uh-huh.
And I fucking was so mad at myself. We're to a point now where I literally have to stop using that word because it's so ingrained in my head the wrong way. I just have to cut it out. Like, I got to stop saying the word because I'm not going to be able to use it right, because then I'll have to think about the word too much. And you don't think about words that are coming out of your mouth. I don't. They just fucking flow out of my mouth, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm a piece of shit. I'm completely retarded. I still think that is a really weird word that I still think a good portion of the population probably is using that incorrectly.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
And I don't know why it's just that word that really, and then it makes me wonder how many other words am I fucking up like that I'm not using correctly. I never said English was my strong suit. It's definitely my weakest thing.
English was my strong suit. Math is terrible.
Oh, dude,
I
check this out.
cannot do math.
I'm so sorry if you're watching the show, but I got to show you guys something. Okay. Oh, god damn it. This isn't going to work.
The triangle?
I want to show. No, I learned this fucking thing, dog, and it blew my mind. And I've been showing everyone, but you like have to see it. And I don't fucking think. Well, I can see it in my camera really well, but I don't think you're. Dude, I can't.
Okay, never mind.
If you take a line, dog. Imagine a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just a vertical line. You can do this on a piece of paper. Draw out a vertical line. So you have a vertical line. Imagine that being a wall. In construction and just anything to do with geometry, what happens a lot in construction is you're always trying to find 90 degrees. It's a huge, it's like the biggest thing. You spend the most amount of time doing math is getting a 90. And so there's two ways that are the most common ways in construction to do this. The easiest way that everyone learns, it's like the cheater way to do it, is everyone calls it 3, 4, 5. And so it's if on something, if you measure up 3 feet and make a mark, and then on the 90, measure 4 feet and make a mark. Now the distance between those two marks should be 5 feet.
Okay.
And as soon as that makes 5 feet, that's a perfect 90-degree angle. So then the other way is the Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that you can do on a bigger scale. So like a 20-foot wall by 20-foot wall, you can now do it bigger and go this side, a squared, times the other 90 side, b squared, whatever those two distances are, equals c squared.
That's a little advanced for me. Yeah.
It's basic algebra or basic algebra geometry. That's a basic number one principle you should have learned. And it's how you find 90. But you need a calculator to do that. You cannot do, because you square it, it gives you a number, and that number is squared. So you have to do the square root of that number to actually find the measurement. You have to have a calculator to do it. So I saw one the other day, no calculator needed, and it is hyper precise, and you could do it on a very large scale. And that's the hard part, is when you do things on a really big scale, like a 40-foot wall, it's the 3, 4, 5 thing doesn't work, because if you need to go 40 feet, if you're a 16th off on your 3, when you go 40 feet, it's going to be massive. You're going to be 1.5 feet off. You know what I mean? So you have a wall. Let's say you have a fucking straight line, and you're trying to 90 degree off that, and let's say it's like 40 feet. So hopefully you're watching this. It may be easier, but you set a stake out or a pin or a nail and just off to the side of that wall, and it doesn't matter where it's at. It could be 5 feet off the wall, 10 feet, doesn't matter where it's at. Just set a stake and a pin. And then on your wall, make a mark on the wall. It does not matter. These 2 points it doesn't matter where you put them. Now on your stake, the first thing you put on out here in the field, like put a nail in it, and now that's going to be a radius point. So now off the second mark you made on the wall, radius around, and use a tape measure, whatever, measure and loop it around till it hits the wall again at the top point, and then make a mark there. So now that dot, the first dot you made out in the field, the distance between dot 1 and 2 and the distance between 3 and 1 is the same. This point and this point is the same. If you run a string line or a straight line from this point through, just follow me. If you run a straight line through the third dot you made to the first dot you made, and then run that straight down where that crosses your circle, your radius point, that is a perfect 90 degree. So you could do that a 20-foot line. You could wrap this circle around, whoop, all the way around, where this point, straight line to this point, where it crosses the circle. That, now your second dot and your fourth dot are perfect 90 degrees. Zero math needed. And you could do that on a 40-foot thing, and you're going to get a perfect 90 degrees. I've never seen anyone ever do that. Wow. And it's so simple. Just super simple geometry. And no calculator needed, and you could figure something out that is 50 feet long and do it dead tits.
Wow.
Super easy, and you really don't need anybody. The A squared, B squared, C squared actually is kind of hard to do by yourself, because you need people holding the tape and making adjustments to get it to line up. And even 3, 4, 5 is you essentially need someone there to start moving the boards and be like, oh, no, you need to move a little bit, okay, now we got a 90.
So wait, when you have that stake or whatever and you're making the circle, are you actually physically doing it with a tape measure? Or a string?
So something you may not have known is every single tape measure, the little lip at the end of the tape, the little lip you hook on something, every tape has a little gash cut in it. And that perfectly fits around a nail. And so you do it all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you just have a nail sticking out a little bit, and then you radius around that nail. You do.
Oh, yeah.
And then it'll hold on that nail, and you can just do circles.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, too much math.
I thought so. It's not. It's really cool. I hope people that are just listening, I don't know if that you would have to watch it. I think.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to visualize without a visualization. Okay, sorry about that. I loved that when I saw it.
Nice.
Episode 97, Eric and Brad Show. Love you guys.
Holding my head again, making my way through crowded thoughts. Sometimes it's hard to get out of it. Broke my heart in the dark. I was just trying to feel something, falling asleep to the sound of it. Always used to lay you clean up the messes, down on my knees, thought I couldn't stand up on my own. Turns out sometimes you're stronger alone. Ringing out the fight, yeah, bring on all the lightning. 'Cause I'm looking for a hero, look inside the mirror, I find one. Oh, carry the hurt when it gets too hard, pick it up, dust it off. When I fall down 11, I get up 12, don't need nobody else. Yeah, I can save myself. Got burned, but I learned. Our scars make us who we are. Now I'm 10 feet tall over my demons. Remind me no one's got me like myself. Yeah, I love me without any help. I'm the best thing to believe in. So I'm bringing out the fight, yeah, bring on all the lightning. 'Cause I'm looking for a hero, look inside the mirror, I find one. Oh, carry the hurt when it gets too hard, pick it up, dust it off. When I fall down 11, I get up 12, don't need nobody else. Yeah, I can save myself. Oh, 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 oh. I could crumble into pieces, but I got a million reasons why I won't. 'Cause this heavy is a season, and the sun is always right behind the storm.